relating to idle and disorderly persons and rogues and vagabonds. Madam Second Deputy Speaker, in response to this directive, the Legal Affairs Committee, pursuant to its mandate, in collaboration with the Ministry of Justice, undertook a fact-finding mission to engage with key stakeholders and gather inputs before proceeding with the necessary amendments to the law on vagrancy. At this juncture, Madam Second Deputy Speaker, allow me to highlight some of the observations on critical issues that your Committee on Legal Affairs made during engagements with various stakeholders. The committee underscored the importance of amending Section 184 of the Penal Code and the related provisions to the law on vagrancy because it will help improve the administration of justice and protection of human rights, the right to equality and not to be discriminated against on any grounds to be presumed innocent. 2, the committee further noted that the current laws often lead to unfair arrests and convictions, particularly for vulnerable individuals. A good example, Madam Second Deputy Speaker, was the Supreme Court of Appeal in Kamangara versus the Republic. The committee emphasized that arrests should be based on concrete evidence rather than mere suspicions. The Malawi Law Society agreed that the proposed amendments will support the right to a fair trial and prevent abuse of power by law enforcement. Number 3, the Law Society agreed with the observation of the Supreme Court that the law enforcement authorities should not arrest any person with a view to investigate. Many people that have been arrested under Section 184 of the Penal Code end up pleading guilty because they want to earn their freedom by paying a fine after conviction and avoid prolonged stay in custody or avoid the convenience that is brought by prolonged trial. Number 4, Madam Second Deputy Speaker, the Law Society submitted that the amendment will promote the right to fair trial under Section 42, subsection 2F of the Constitution and avoid abuse by police officers of their general power to arrest without a warrant under Section 28 of the Criminal Procedure and Evidence Code. Number 5, the Malawi Law Society also highlighted that the plight of individuals arrested for vagrancy-related offenses often lack legal representation. Further to that, the state normally does not provide them with services of legal practitioner as required by Sections 42, subsection 1 and 42, subsection 2 of the Constitution. The Society is of the opinion that if the amendments pass the constitutionality test in Section 5 of the Constitution and addresses the issues that the courts have observed regarding the provisions, the amendments will lead to improvement in access to justice. 6, Madam Second Deputy Speaker, the committee invited the Law Commission, following the critical role that the Commission plays in systematic review and reform of the laws to ensure that there is effectiveness and then the laws are reflective of current societal values. Section 132 of the Constitution gives the Commission the mandate to review the law. The committee wanted to understand whether the Law Commission had conducted a legal analysis on the existing laws and to solicit input into the review process. During the discussions, the Law Commission indicated that the specific amendment to Section 184 may not warrant a dedicated review by the Commission, citing cost-effectiveness concerns. The Law Commission, however, highlighted the need for a comprehensive review of the vagrancy laws, emphasizing that a piecemeal approach would be ineffective. The Commission suggested that the issue lies more with law enforcement practices rather than the law itself, advising the committee to focus on enforcement issues as well. 8, the Minister of Justice reported to undertake an effort to draft an amendment bill to come to Parliament in the upcoming meeting. The committee, however, expressed concerns that it had taken a long time for the two branches of government, that is ourselves legislature, as well as the executive, to be aware of the court judgment that was made in 2022 that ordered the review of the vagrancy laws. Madam Second Deputy Speaker, having heard views from the stakeholders through roundtable discussions, which is essential for developing a comprehensive and effective and enforceable amendment to the vagrancy laws, the committee makes the following recommendations. 1, that implementation of the vagrancy laws infringes upon basic human rights and disproportionately target the vulnerable in the society. In view of that, there is need to have a comprehensive review of the vagrancy laws from Section 180 to Section 184 of the Penal Code as directed by the court. This is very crucial to ensure compliance with human rights standards and protection of the rights of vulnerable individuals. 2, that government through the means of justice should facilitate the amendment bill on selected sections of Penal Code as a matter of urgency in view of the timelines that were given by the court. 3, that the judiciary should improve its systems of transmitting judgments to the executive and parliament by way of desk officer to ensure that all judgments and court directives are adhered to within the stipulated time lines. Madam Second Deputy Speaker, in conclusion, let me mention that the Legal Affairs Committee diligently consulted various stakeholders to address the court directive. The committee is confident that the findings and recommendations that came from this report will result in a well-informed and effective legislative amendment in accordance with the court's order. The committee urges the House to fast-track the amendment bill to comply with the court's directive and to also uphold the rights and dignity of all individuals. With these few remarks, I wish to thank you, Madam Second Deputy Speaker, for granting me the floor and all the honorable members for your kind attention. Madam Second Deputy Speaker, I beg to move that the report be adopted. I beg to move, Madam. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chair for Legal Affairs. May I ask the seconder to take the floor? Mulanje West.
Thank you very much, Second Deputy Speaker, for giving me the chance to second the report that has just been presented by the Chair of the Legal Affairs Committee. Second Deputy Speaker, indeed, as alluded to by the Chair, your Committee on Legal Affairs consulted various stakeholders in order to gain comprehensive knowledge and specialized insights, which will be invaluable in crafting legislation that is practical, effective, and accurately addresses the issues at hand. Madam Second Deputy Speaker, during the discussions with the stakeholders, the committee was informed that on the 4th of December 2020, the African Court on Human and People's Rights, in short, the African Court, rendered an advisory opinion on the compatibility of vagrancy laws, and the other human rights instruments applicable in Africa. Madam Second Deputy Speaker, the opinion stated that vagrancy laws in many African countries, including Malawi, they are incompatible with various human rights instruments. The court emphasized that these laws often target vulnerable individuals and violate their fundamental rights. Madam Second Deputy Speaker and the whole House, you may wish to know that the committee's recommendations align with the African Court's findings and call for a comprehensive review and amendment of the vagrancy laws. By doing so, we can ensure that our laws are consistent with the international human rights standards and protect the rights of all citizens. Second, Deputy Speaker, Madam, I would also like to underscore the importance of capacity building for law enforcement agencies. The committee has noted that the effectiveness of any legal reforms depends on the ability of law enforcement personnel to implement them appropriately. By investing in training and resources, we can equip our police officers with the skills and knowledge necessary to ensure the law fairly and humanly. In conclusion, Madam Second Deputy Speaker, I urge the House to adopt the recommendations of the Legal Affairs Committee. By doing so, we will take a significant step towards ensuring that our laws are just, equitable, and respectful of human rights. With these few remarks, Second Deputy Speaker, I thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honourable Member for Mulanje West, to second the report. Honourable Members, the floor is open for general debate. No one to take the floor? Leader?
Mr. Deputy Speaker, I was about to ask that we end up debate, but the Minister of Justice wants to say something. So I would want to give the Minister of Justice a chance.
Honourable Minister of Justice.
Thank you, Second Deputy Speaker. I rise to support the report as well, and to say that I've noted that we may be seen to be out of time in terms of complying with the court order. But I think what we can do is to make an application to court to extend time. Courts are always amenable to extend time if reasons which are valid enough are given to the court. So they were seen to have respected the court and extending and asking for extension of time. There are several laws in the Penal Code which need to be amended. Yes, sections mentioned, 180, 184, but there's some laws which my ministry may have to look at. For offenses in the Penal Code, like being drunk and incapable, is an offense. But drunk and incapable of what? So I just wanted to say that I support, but we must, my minister will apply for extension of time to the court. Thank you, Second Deputy Speaker.
Thank you, Honourable Minister of Justice.
I was waiting for Machingali Kwenu to say something, but he's not rising. So who am I to force him to speak? But I want to ask that, beg that the debate on the report be curtailed in order to allow the chairperson to wind up debate. I beg to move.
Thank you, Honourable Members. I now put a question, and the question is that debate on the Legal Affairs Committee be curtailed in order for the Honourable Chair to wind up. Those of that opinion say aye. Those of the contrary opinion say no. The ayes have it. The motion is carried. Chair.
Thank you so much, Madam Second Deputy Speaker. And through you, I want to thank the Honourable Minister of Justice, who entirely supports our report regarding the need for the amendment of the vagrancy laws. And indeed, as I said, there are quite a number of laws in our Penal Code that are archaic, and therefore there will be need for extension of time so that the Minister of Justice looks into all those sections that are very archaic. He gave an example of drunk and incapable. There's so many examples, including even attempted suicide. If you attempt to kill yourself, it's an offense. It doesn't make sense. So quite a number of sections in the Penal Code that really don't make sense, and there will be need for the Minister of Justice to look into that so that we have a comprehensive amendment of the Penal Code. So we'll do as the Honourable Minister has advised, so that there's extension of time for thorough review of the Penal Code, so that all those archaic laws are actually taken out. Otherwise, I want to, through you, Madam Second Deputy Speaker, thank him and all the honourable members of the House for supporting the report of the Legal Affairs Committee. I therefore beg to move that the committee be, the report be adopted by the whole House. I beg to move. Thank you.
Thank you, honourable members. I now put a question, and the question is that the report of the Parliamentary Committee on Legal Affairs on the review of the Penal Code be adopted by the whole House. Those of that opinion say aye. Those of the contrary opinion say no. The ayes have it. The motion is carried. Therefore, the report has been adopted.